Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Home Service Hustle. I'm your host, Jonathan Bannister, and today I'm with my friend, Bob Muller. And Bob is the owner and founder of Personal Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, now also offering electrical out of Southern California. Welcome to the show, Bob.
Hey, thanks, Jonathan. Glad to be here, man. Can't wait to get started and dive into what you got for us today.
Yeah. So, look, I met you a few years back at an industry event. My wife and I both got to meet you, and let's just kind of start there. There was a story that you told us about the baker and putting all getting all the materials. So, will you tell that story?
Yeah, no, I love it because realistically, I like to take things and simplify things. I try to do that with business and with life. And the way I kind of presented it to you at the time was more like the way I looked at how I educate my own family on how to raise kids. To me, you just keep things simple, right? And I was basically submitted to you that raising kids is as easy as pie, right? So that we went to that pie theory.
Yeah.
And use the pie chart, because when you use the pie chart, you can simplify things over a course and make things reality. So when you look at reality, you can say, okay, well, my kids on a pie chart, the time that I'm going to be raising them is such a small piece of that pie on the pie chart. It's literally not even a quarter of that whole piece of pie, hoping and assuming your kids are going to live, well into their 80s or 90 years old, right?
Right.
So that first part is about putting the right ingredients into your kids. And so it's like you're responsible for putting the ingredients into your kids from the first part of their life. You build your kids by putting the ingredients into them, making sure that they have all of the things that's going to set them up successfully. And then you start to let them, help bake the pie as they get a little bit older, because that first part of the pie chart, it's a small little sliver on there of you putting in the ingredients. And then you're going to be into that small little section of when they're 7 to 10 years old, and you start letting them participate to put the ingredients in there, the things they like to do. And then you get into that little phase of what we call the high school years, which I call the most important part of the pie, which is literally the smallest piece of the pie that can either taste really freaking good or it can taste really freaking bad, right? It's 4 years of your life, 3 years in some districts, 4 years in others, right? We'll just call it a 3-4 year piece of the pie there. And if you didn't put all the right ingredients in that pie from when they were young kids, and they're now eating that pie by themselves, and they didn't go to the homecoming dance, they didn't play football, they didn't participate in all the other little, events, and they didn't get to really have that great high school experience, the rest of their life, they're set up for a lot of bad tasting pie. Okay. And I like to say, you got to put all the right ingredients into the pie so that little sliver that they're eating from their high school years is that they're eating the best tasting piece of the pie, because it's such a small part. And man, for the rest of their life, they can either eat the rest of the good tasting pie because you set them up for the right success, or they're going to eat shit pie for the rest of their life, because we didn't put the right ingredients in there. And part of that's just keeping things simple. And as I reminded you, to keep things really simple with the kids about the rules. We overcomplicate the way that we raise kids today. We put so many rules in place. We put so many things that they got to follow. And for me, like I was telling you at that time, I just kept 3 rules for my kids, because I'm your father. I'm responsible for making sure that I can get you out of anything and everything, including, all of what my legal responsibilities that I can get you out of. You get yourself and you kill somebody, I can't get you out of it. Okay. You get yourself into a DUI situation because you got into a car after driving, and that's one of my rules is you can't drink and drive. I didn't say you can't drink. I just said you can't drink and drive.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, being very specific with the rules and the things that I can get you out of, the things that I can't get you out of. I can't get you out of, getting a girl pregnant, getting a disease, making sure that you put a condom on it, things like that. Those are the things that I can't control, but I can get you out of most of everything else.
Yeah.
So I kept the rules very simple for my kids. There was 3 rules that they had to follow. And we made sure that they put all of the right ingredients into their piece of pie that they while they were in high school, and we made sure they had a really good high school experience, and we made sure that they didn't break those 3 rules. To this day, they're, going into their 30s, raising their own kids now, and they can still recite those 3 rules to me. So
no, can't kill anyone, can't drink and drive, and can't get pregnant or get a disease.
Well, killing somebody could lead to drinking and driving. So you can't kill anybody. Okay. You can't get a girl pregnant, and you can't get a disease, because I can't take a disease away from you. I can't, according to my philosophy, I can't get you out of, you getting a girl pregnant, because I'm not going to get you out of that.
Right.
And I can't get you out of killing anybody. So whatever leads to killing somebody, drinking, driving, all of the other things, that can go wrong with doing something stupid, pointing a gun at somebody. I mean, we can lead to all of the things that could get you to killing somebody. Just don't kill anybody. Just do all of the silly things that you're supposed to do as kids that I can get you out of. But those 3 rules, those are the things that I can't get you out of. Go and have fun, but for me to sit there and control every single aspect of your day and don't do all the silly things that I know I did when I was a kid. I'm not going to sit here and tell you not to go do all the fun things that I think you need to do while you're still kids, because you're only going to be a kid once,
That's right.
So for me, I just kept things, pretty simple. I try to do that through the business as well, that we operate. I try to just, I don't try to put so many rules and things like that in place. I literally try to operate the business with the same philosophies of clarity, keeping things clear on a vision, keeping things clear on a brand, keeping things clear on the services that we're offering. And it's the same thing. It's, raising your family is the same thing as raising a family inside your business as well. So it's literally, to me, it correlates.
Yeah.
Like who you choose as your partner when you're married matters just as equally as much as who you choose, who your partner for if it's your wife and that's your partner, running a business, you gotta be aligned all the way along the line. So, I mean, it starts early.
So you're a former Army veteran. How long were you in the Army?
So I just did my little 4-year stint when I got out of high school. Got out of high school in '85, went into the Army. Got out of the Army in '89, and started my business right away.
So Army veteran goes into the plumbing trade. How have these experiences, both your 4 years in the Army, going straight into pretty much starting your business, going into the plumbing world, how has that influenced your leadership style and the values that you instill in your company today?
Yeah, I can tell you that going into the military did make a huge impact on leadership, because I can tell you that leadership's not something that you are just born with. Like, it's something that you either were taught while you played sports in high school. And that's why I go back to that point about high school, about how important it is to make sure your kids are part of that. Because if they're not going to be part of the military, which we can tell you that most kids are not probably going to be a part of it, when we've only have 3 or 4% of the population that even serves in the military, likely your kids are not going to be in the military. So they got to get leadership skills from somewhere. It's either going to be from their father. It's either going to be from a coach. It's going to be from a pastor. It's going to come from somewhere. Okay. And for me, leadership started inside the military. I had a really great leader in the military, led by example. And for me, that was how I still lead today. I still lead very militaristically, as I'm reminded all the time. So, everybody's style is a little bit different. And I don't know if we want to go into a style debate today, because, everybody's got their style of leadership, and everybody's leadership has got a little bit of different flair to it, but it does start with leadership, and leadership is a message. And, I think it's so important for everybody that is a leader in the business, just has a clear vision and message. And it's just that they own their message.
Well, let's talk about leadership a little bit. As someone, I know you value honesty and integrity, very much so. So how do you ensure that those principles are upheld across your company when you're leading a large team? What are you doing as a leader to make sure that the honesty and integrity is being upheld?
Yeah. So for me, it starts with having that on the wall. So for me, I have my acronym on there, which is the TRUST acronym. For me, everything starts with trust. If you can't trust me, I can't lead you if you don't trust me. Okay. I can't teach you if I don't have any hope in you. Okay. And so for me, trust starts with hope, and you go down the journey of hope to faith to trust. You got to have hope in somebody before you can even have trust in somebody, because if I don't even had hope in you, I can't ever get to trust.
Right.
So if I go through the evolution of what trust means, and for me, I deliver this message to my guys all the time, and this is why leadership really starts with the message. My message is always trust. My message is I've been in this thing for 36 years, so I've got enough time in this industry that you can trust that I'm going to stay, that I've been around. Okay. For me to have hope in somebody that comes into my business, I got to take you down that journey of hope to faith to trust. And faith is built on, after I put hope in you, you've shown up for the last 3 months. You've been to my meetings. We've gone through this stuff. And now I've got a little bit of hope that you're going to be continuing to do that for the next, 6 months. Once we get past that 6 months, now I got faith in you that you're going to do this, because we've done it now for 6 months together. So now after I got faith inside there and things are continuing to work, we built trust between each other, because you can trust me and I can trust you. But most people in relationships never get past hope. Okay. And so the one thing that I hold my leaders accountable to is if you put hope into somebody, make sure that you're leading them to trust. And if they can't trust you, they're never going to get to the point where they're going to work for you or do anything for you. Because if you're not trustworthy yourself, if you didn't show somebody that you're trustworthy, they never put hope into you first, because it's a two-way street. This trust thing is a two-way street. They got to have just as much trust in me as I have in them. And that thing starts equally aligned at the beginning of hope. Like when you come to work for me, you're going to have hope that I'm capable of delivering what I say I'm capable of delivering. And they are equally as aligned. Like they have hope for me and I've got hope in them. And we just have to equally get there. And for the message has to be that at the end of the day, we have to have trust. And if we don't have trust, this thing is not going to work.
Right.
Trust is the most important thing.
And trust takes time. Like you were saying, it starts at hope. You hope that person's going to be a great employee and going to show up to work on time, is going to put in the time and resources to get better at their skill set. They hope that you are going to honor what you said, whatever it was that convinced them to come work for you. Yep. Right. And then eventually you get to the place where they've been there long enough. They've held up to their commitments. You've held up to your commitments, and then trust is formed.
Yeah. And that's where we get to why the most important thing in the company is trust, because without that, everything else is broken. And that's through really good communication. That's through, processes and procedures. That's through having a good vision. That's through having a good message, good training program, being able to train with your team, deliver on those, on that, deliver on what you say that you're going to do, not only to your team, but to your customers. Because if your team's not delivering your message, and this is the one thing, this is, where, as you are a marketing guy, we can't help you be a really good marketing company if our guys are not part of that marketing effort. Because at the end of the day, the last part of the marketing message comes from the guy. The guy inside the house is delivering the marketing message that we've sent out there, that we've entrusted you to help us build. They're an extension of the marketing department. Like every single guy that goes into the house is an extension of the marketing department. They're either talking about the message that we've had. They're either talking about the personal protection plan that we have. They're either talking about the SAM, units that we have. But if they're not even, part of that marketing message, then even the marketing side of it's broken down. So that's why training is so important. That's why delivering messages are so important, and trusting that we can do that. And that's part of just having a really good team.
I love it. So let's talk about community a little bit. I know y'all's community is a big focus for you guys. You've been in that market for a long time. You say that you're a non-guru mentor.
Yeah.
What local initiatives or partnerships, have y'all explored or partnered with that you're particularly proud of, or helped your brand stand out?
Well, for us, I mean, our brand is actually, built around, the SAM, which is what really it got me into the Army to begin with, right? Which is Uncle Sam, I want you. And it was the message back in the day that got me into the Army. I took that I want you into I want to be your plumber. And then that, took from there into the journey of where we're at today, into the electrical, the HVAC and everything else. So it's not more about just I want to be your plumber, but we want to serve our military community. We are, very military based over here in San Diego. We're right next to Camp Pendleton over here in Oceanside. Very big, strong, Marine community presence. We've got a strong military presence all the way down to San Diego with the Air Force and the Navy and everybody else. So we're very proud of being veteran owned and helping the veteran community over here. We get involved in the veteran community over here very prevalently. We offer definitely not only the senior discounts, but, heavy, military discounts. So we're military driven over here, military minded and focused. So if I were to say that, anything that really makes us get engaged, it's really about that. We partner with the Chamber of Commerce over here. We help them as well. We stay local in our communities over here through the parades. We do the 4th of July parade, every single year here as well. So, I mean, we pride ourselves on our brand and serving the community we say we serve.
So I know the company has changed a lot over the last couple of years. Let's talk a little bit about, you had some challenges with some partnerships and things that you were venturing out to. So you don't have to give too much detail, but I do want you to give as much as you're open to, but advice.
Yeah.
Someone in your shoes who are having some of the challenges, or some of, you're a visionary, I'm a visionary, what you want, but there's some people out there just smarter than you that can help implement it faster.
Yeah.
But what do you tell those people about getting in bed maybe with the wrong people, or how to prevent that from happening?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm open to share whatever you've got questions on, but I can tell you that partnering with people that you can really trust, that you vetted, that you have, like, not out of desperation. And I can say that there was probably, for me, I might have been a little bit more desperate to partner with somebody than I was careful. So, I mean, for me, I chose some people that I didn't really know that well, along the way, and decided that we would give it a shot because of their reputation more than their actual show of work.
Right.
And maybe it wasn't so much that they were not good at what they do, because I don't think that they're not good at what they do. I just maybe don't know whether we were equally as aligned to what the end result we both wanted. Like, maybe they weren't going to get enough out of what I was offering, and maybe I wasn't going to get enough out of what they were willing to give. So really get yourself, into the right partnership alignment, because if you're really going all in on a partnership, it's like going into marriage with somebody, and it's very difficult to get divorced.
Yes.
So you don't want to go through too many divorces in life. And unfortunately, that's my story, is that I've had plenty of those along the way. And, you really got to make sure that you're partnering with the right people, whether it starts with, even with your wife, all the way to the partners that you bring into your business and the vision that you're selling to them. For me now, like, I've put a lot of hope, faith, and trust, those three things, into a group right now that I'm partnered with. And, we still have our challenges. We're trying to solve them every single day. But the one thing I can say is that we are at least aligned with, equal. We're equally vetted into this thing to where we're both aligned, at least. So at least that makes the partnership work. So we both want the same outcome. And as long as we both want the same outcome, we're we're all going to be in it to solve it together until it gets fixed. We're still in that process right now. So, I mean, I'm not saying that everything is perfect. We're getting closer all the time, but at least the alignment is there. And for anybody, if I was to give a suggestion, as you asked, anybody that is looking to partner with somebody, talk to people, talk to guys like myself, talk to people that have been through a lot of these challenges. Because if you're not sure about, and I'm not going to sit here and say that you need to be told who to partner with. You just need to be making sure that you're checking all the right boxes before you do partner with somebody. And that's my message.
So alignment on goals, that should be a priority.
It should be 100% a priority because, if you're a founder business owner and you've been doing this a long time and you're looking for some help to get out, I mean, because everybody's in a different box. There's either that startup guy that's looking for help how to grow his business, or there's that guy that's been in the business a long time and he's trying to figure out how to get out of the business, right? And so there's those two different dynamics that I think we're talking about right here when we're talking about partnering with somebody, because somebody that's in the middle, it's either they're looking for somebody to help them grow, and that might be through best practice groups, or that might be through some other different types of partnerships that you can help bring you to that next growth step. But if you're that guy that's looking to either partner with somebody because you're not sure what you're doing, or you're that guy that's been in this a long time and you're looking at how am I going to get out of this thing, both of those two things usually come with desperation. Okay. Because you don't know what the hell you're doing, and you don't know if you're going to be in business for another year, or you've been doing this so damn long and you're just ready to get out of it, and you're looking to partner with somebody that's going to help you get out of it. And those two things, when you're coming from it from a desperate side, it becomes a completely different challenge. And it's like, that's when you don't know who to trust and who to partner with. And that's where I'm saying you really got to be careful with who you do that stuff with. And it needs to have like clear vision, clear goals, a good contract, a good understanding of the contract. And it always comes down to, a good contract is never something that you're going to get 100% of what you like, and they're never going to get 100% of what they like. But if both of you are equally aligned and the outcome is good for the both of you at the end of the day, then that's usually a good contract. But again, I would say go back to first understanding what your goal is. Are you looking to have somebody that you're partnering with to grow with, or are you looking for somebody that you're partnering to get out of this thing with, or are you looking for a partner that's just helping you, get to that next level? Because we all know there's always another level in business, right? There's always that 5 million to 10 million growth, 10 million to 15 to 20, and then all the way to 100 million, or whatever your goals are inside business. Or maybe your goal is just, how do I keep money in the bank, staying as a $2 or $3 million company, and just nurturing that over the course of a 20-year run. And it's something that you can pass down to your kids with as a legacy business. So everybody's goal is a little bit different, in this, of whether you're going to be a legacy owner, you're going to be a strategy of build and exit owner. Everybody's strategy is a little bit different. So understanding what your strategy is and understanding where you are in that journey along the way, what box you're in, you really need somebody to help you with that.
I love it. That's great advice from someone who has lived it, and you've gone through it. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah.
All right. So let's wrap up here, and let's talk about the next 12 to 18 months. So you've implemented HVAC over the last couple of years. You started out plumbing only, and now you've brought electrical in. 2025 has been shown to be a tough year for y'all's company, just as like it has for many others around the country. You and I have kind of discussed that extensively, of why we think that is.
Yeah.
You also believe that the next several months are going to be tough as well.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that, what you think is going to happen in the near future. This episode's being shot October 16th of 25. It will launch here in a couple of weeks. But just for purpose, everybody knows when this was recorded.
Yeah.
What do you see happen in the next couple months? Do you think y'all's market tends to start trends? And what does the next 12 or 18 months look realistically for y'all's company?
Yeah, I think for our company specifically, I think we're going to be faced with the same challenges that most people are faced with, just in a weather-driven market where weather isn't a problem. Like weather creates problems for people's homes, and of course, in Southern California, we're not in a market right now that's created a lot of those problems over the last 6 to 7 months. But that being said, I think we're also in a more of a recessionary economy than what the government's telling us that we're in. And I really believe that it's more of a recession that we're in right now. That's been proven just in our average ticket prices. It's been proven in the way that we run our systems and processes. We're not doing anything really different, but the results are definitely different. So the writing's on the wall on that. I think we're still probably another 3 or 4 months before we get out of that. I think that Q1 next year is going to be probably, you'll start to see things loosen up a little bit, because what they're saying is, we're going to be seeing at least a full quarter drop in rates over the next 3 or 4 months, all the way through the beginning of the first year. So I think that being that we're in such a middle class economy, and our middle class is really what buys our problems right now inside our companies, the water heaters, the AC units and stuff like that. I think credit's going to start loosening up a little bit. I think people's pocketbooks are going to feel a little bit better. I think everybody's just scared right now, and I think it's making people a little bit cautious right now. I think we're in a cautionary economy. We just got to button up, get through it. And, when money's cheap, man, stack that cash when money's cheap, because, you never know when you're going to need it. And, always take that free money when it's out there. Like take that low interest rate credit that is available to you. If you're not using it, it's not costing you anything. But if you have it available to you, it's better to get it when times are good than waiting to try to get it when times are bad and you need it. So that's what's going to get us through. The economy is just making sure that we have strong relationships with our banks, making sure that we have strong relationships with potential investors. And that's what's going to get us out of it specifically. But for the people that need a little bit of advice, that haven't been through these tough times right now, always plan for the tough times, because like we were talking about earlier, there's always going to be good times in business, and there's always going to be bad times in business. Whenever there's a good time, be rest assured a bad time is right around the corner. And you've just got to go through enough bad times to know how to weather them to get through the good times. And in business, only the people that have a way of understanding how to outlast the bad times are the people that are going to stay in business. You just got to know how to outlast and out strategize people to stay in business, because that's how you stay in business, is through relationships and knowing how to outlast the bad times.
I love it. One last thing, or maybe two things. So why do you think you said business owners need to prepare for the bad times? They need to, I see companies that can't even prepare for the weather change. So what do you've been doing this 30 something years, 35 plus years. So what do you say to those people that aren't prepared for these bad times, and how do they get prepared?
So I go back to that same thing of principles about having a foundation that you built your company off of. It starts, as you well know, is one of the better guys out there that I know is being a brand builder. It starts with having a brand, because if you don't have brand inside your market, you're going to get lost. Okay. So that's building your home's foundation, is building your brand. And if you don't have a strong brand that you've built your business on how you show up, how your company looks online, all of the different things that builds brand. And I can let you talk to that as much as you want, because you're the brand expert. But understanding basic principles of economics, like understanding, like knowing how to look at a balance sheet, knowing how to read a balance sheet, understanding where the money, how the money's coming in and how the money's going out. Like, I can't tell you how many business owners that I talk to, that I work with, on the side, that don't understand how to just, understand how their money's coming in and how their money's going out, how to leverage debt, how to leverage, like for me, leveraging debt was how I grew businesses, because you don't pay taxes on debt. You pay taxes on your profit, right? So it's like just understanding money, understanding your brand, understanding your vision. All of these things are so important for maintaining longevity over the course of a 30-year run, because it's going to be a short run for a lot of guys that don't understand, the principles of setting up a business. And principles, they're not exclusive to me. Like, principles matter to every single thing, and everybody that has a business, doesn't matter if it's in an HVAC business or if it's in a convenience store, all of the basic principles that fundamentally run a business matter to every single business. So you just got to know what those principles are, and you can't deviate from them. Like, you can't spend more money than you make.
Right.
You can't drive a Ferrari till you can actually, afford to drive a Ferrari. There's a lot of principles that people forget when they're starting out, and how to stack cash.
I got to write that one down. So you can't spend more than you make. Okay.
Am I losing it?
All right, there we go. So I was going to write this one down. So I can't spend more than I make.
Yeah, that's a very important rule.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that one. Thank you. Thank you for that one.
Yeah.
All right. So the last thing I got is, Bob, like, everybody's going to see this and hear this. You're, Southern California boy. But every time anyone sees you out and about at an event on the podcast, you got the big blue star on your head. So you want to explain where you take my state of Texas everywhere around with you and the Dallas Cowboys. So what is this about?
So that goes back to the Vietnam era of when Roger the Dodger Staubach came into the league. And, my dad was in Vietnam at the time, and Roger was presented to the world as this new starting quarterback of America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. And when I saw that star on his helmet, it lit me up, as a young 2-year-old. I could not wait to be out on the playing field watching, this new Dallas Cowboy, football team. And I've been starstruck ever since. I lived in Dallas, for quite some time too, by the way. So I did spend time in Texas in the 70s, but I've been a long time, sufferer and supporter of the Dallas Cowboys. I've had some really great years, but man, these last 27, 28 years have been brutal. It's been tough to put on the star, but man, I love Frisco. I love where you're at. And I every single time I'm over there in Frisco and at the Star, I feel at home. I love it. I love what the Dallas Cowboys, I love who they are. I'm going to be a supporter no matter what to the day I die.
I love it. Well, Bob, I appreciate you coming on today. You shared some amazing knowledge and just to be open and willing to educate, help other people, maybe not make some of the mistakes you had. You've been in this space for a very long time. Thank you so much. And would love to have you back, and let's check out how 2026 is for you.
I would love that. Sounds good. Thanks, Jonathan.
Thanks, Bob. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it.